If you've been on my channel for any period of time, you know I really like versus debating. Whether it be asking if I could beat a character, seeing who's the strongest in a certain franchise, or whatever this is, I just love people punching each other in the face. Like a lot of Versus fans, my love of this came from Death Battle. I've been watching them for about a decade now, and I've also seen a bunch of other videos pop up, people giving their dream matches, so I want to throw my hat into this. Here's 30 of my most wanted Death Battle episodes. No real rules. This isn't a top 30, this is just in no particular order. Also, I should note, a lot of these are very serious matches with deep thematic connections. Some of these are not that. Let's start this. Surprisingly, not a lot of Kirby fights in this video. The hang up being most of the ones I thought of are them fighting Mario, but with Wario vs. Deity existing, and then putting Mario characters at Universal and Kirby characters at Multiversal, there's not much of a debate here. This one is interesting though because Dimentio is one of the strongest Mario characters, holding back most of its fights, and even getting to Multiversal thanks to Super Dimentio. Plus, it's two Nintendo jesters who are much more sinister than they first appear. It's a fitting match. I don't know who takes it. I'm rooting Mark, but I'm expecting Dimentio.
How many times is it gonna take?
Two kick-butt commanding officers who seem unbreakable, yet do have a soft side. Levi vs. Roy is a match I'd be super excited for. Sadly, Roy stomps since Levi is a glass cannon and also he kind of speed blitzes, but I like him more, so I'm cool with that. I love the DVX between Roy and Zuko. Make it at least as good as that and it would be good.
The things I do for love.
We need more cartoon matchups. We've gotten action shows before, but Scooby-Doo vs. Courage would be my pick for our goofier fight. Two dogs who are scared of everything, yet will put their fears aside to help the people they love. They even got a crossover recently, which may hurt the chances of this happening, but I mean, we've gotten official crossovers between Marvel and DC, and this may come as a shock, but we have gotten those two in Death Battle before. Gonna bet in Courage because he blew up the sun by screaming. Absolute Chad.
So, you're here to fight me, Pit?
Of course I would have a matchup for Best Girl. I was going to do Rosalina vs. Cynthia because it's very cinematic, until I remember that I don't hate Cynthia. Rosalina vs. Palutena is pretty much just Nintendo goddesses, but the fight and music potential and my love for these two characters, especially this one, puts it here. I can see this starting as two just kind of sparring to pass the time, but then Palutena actually kills Illuma, and it gets crazy with size shifting and other powers. Galaxy and Uprising have some of the best OSTs in gaming, so a song featuring these two characters would just have to be great. I mentioned before they put Rosalina at Universal, and they put Pit way lower than that. Even if they bump that, the best I've heard for characters is like multi-solar system, so Rosalina stops. Not that I'm complaining.
Malicious man.
There are two fights that I loved for the longest time. Lizard vs. Man-Bat, because it's two good men who got turned into animals by mistake when trying to help humanity, and Lizard vs. Killer Croc. I'm 7 years old internally, and I really like reptile folks punching each other. If only there was a way to combine the two. Help us, Leatherhead Senpai. This could rival John vs. Saberdolph in brutality, but it's better because I'm scaly, not furry. Wait, what? Unless they use 2003 Leatherhead, Lizard should win, which I'm fine with. I just want to see more reptiles, gosh dang it.
Yes, who?
Wait, no, don't click off, hear me out. I used to argue versus stuff with friends all the time. This is probably the one we debated the most. Java versus Roz, I would want to be hand-drawn. Weird pick for these two, I know, but I want this to be like super exaggerated. Mostly so it's just not, you know, two pillows punching each other. The main reason I want this is because I am a die-hard Roz defender. You may think she's feetless, but in the MEU, which is short for Monsters Expanded Universe, Roz has all these crazy powers, including access to all the CDA equipment, buttons that do literally anything she wants, and even teleportation. I want to see two slugs slug each other in the face. Is that too much to ask?
Why? Yeah!
Just warning you that like 80% of these include cartoon characters. Finn and Jake vs. Mordecai and Rigby is a Monte, Mickey vs. Bugs, but even more. Two cartoon duos of mostly slackers that will occasionally become serious and were the starters of CN's revival. This is a debate that has been going on since these two shows have came out, and since I recently saw both for the first time, I really want it. Both had extremely varied arsenals, so I would have to give it to Finn and Jake. Mordecai and Rigby have some ridiculous stuff at the second half of the episodes when they try to bake a burrito and then suddenly Satan appears. But a lot of that is situational, and nothing can really match Finn and Jake's like planet level power and their teamwork. Maybe the Baby Ducks, but they're like arguably outside help, and their best form definitely is outside help, since it requires the Geese, Pops, Skips, Muscleman, Benson, Fives, Carter, Briggs, and their cousin Andy to reach. If Boomstick name drops High Five Ghost, this would just be the best episode ever.
Exhilarating being the killee, isn't it?
Sans might be the most requested character in Death Battle as of now. I've seen him up against the Judge, Ness, Cuphead, Gino, Gengar, Bill Cipher, Beerus. Peter Griffin. Of all these matchups, Koro Sensei is my favorite. They are shockingly similar. Large smiles, dodging, physically weak, but are still considered some of the strongest in their series, and both made agreements to people to protect a kid or a group of kids in Koro's case. Both are also pretty lighthearted, but can get serious when needed, and I feel like that can come up easily in the fight. The two just start off having fun, throwing back jokes, until one of them accidentally kills Innocent, and then they go all the way. Kuro is faster, and only needs to hit Sans once, so he probably takes it.
At last we meet.
Get real, Buster!
Vilgax vs. Dominator wasn't a matchup that crossed my mind until I saw Brandon Yates' track on the matchup, which is one of my favorite of his. It's a good fight though, both green planet-conquering aliens from cartoons, one of which I refuse to shut up about. This would have to be hand-drawn, and I could see the fight starting with Dominator just kind of goofing off, not seeing Vilgax as a threat, until he beefs up and she gets into her suit and the real fight happens. The big reason I want this though is if you scroll down the comments of the track, it's full of people saying this is a stomp for Vilgax. And, no. A few exceptions like Alien X, bending characters are really weak, all things considered. And Vilgax's best form required outside help, while Dominator is at least planet level to possibly star level. I will fight you on this, Fricker. I'm never getting Wonder over yonder back. Just let me have this one win, please. Please. I know a lot of people really wanted Vilgax to fight Ridley though, so if you really want that, here's an alternate match for Ridley. How have we not gotten a dragon battle yet? We've had a dragon, a dino fight, even a robot dino fight, but no dragon fights. And two of Nintendo's biggest and strongest dragons would be fitting for the first of these. I could see this starting with like a normal cutscene of Rayquaza trying to calm down Kyogre and Groudon, only for Ridley to come in and kill them both and some Spectators, and then Rayquaza adds this to the garbage I have to deal with list, and then they fight. Halfway through, maybe you bring Meta Ridley, Helen with space. Obviously you need Mega Rayquaza in there because he's freaking sick. Winner depends on what you believe in, though I'm leaning more towards Rayquaza, I forgot how you say it, frick you. The track must be done entirely in trumpets.
Ow.
On a scale of 1
Ow.
I'm gonna make this short because this is one of the two fights I feel like can actually happen. Hiccup and Toothless probably win, because Hiccup is better than Hero as a partner, and they seem to be faster and stronger. Yeah. Frick you, this is funny. You see, this is actually a very thematic battle because they're both named Father and they have children that aren't technically theirs, and they are the main villains of their series, and frick you, it's funny. I'm not getting Candy anywhere else in this freaking web series. I need to get it in somehow. Candy Father probably wins because he blew a hole in Earth, and his parallel grandfather and Monty because they have the moon base crashing on them. Have the fight start with Full Metal Father trying to join the League of Villains, gets turned down, and then he kills Pollinator for some reason, and that starts the fight. Not because Father wants to like avenge his friend or whatever, but because Pollinator owes him like $5. Also have the track be called Daddy's Home. Or Harder Daddy.
That's not in the cards.
Okay, so as you might be able to tell, this was not actually in the script. You might tell from the recording, this is added after. This match was originally supposed to be Mystique versus the Chameleon from Tough Puppy as a meme. Then I realized, wow, even for this video that sucked. So yeah, I decided to cut that. I was like, frick, I need a new one because I can't have the top 29, that's stupid. That's why we're doing Spawn versus Ghost Rider. It's a very popular matchup. I like these characters. Yeah, there's not much to say here because this is not planned, but like, yeah, this is a very well-known matchup. Don't know who wins, want Ghost Rider to win. On to the actual list that was recorded. I am so sorry for Mystique versus Chameleon.
Fuck! Get this guy off me!
Oh no!
Okay, so this seems like another joke matchup, but I'm serious. I think Flippy versus Jar Jar would be a very fun match. Both look down upon, both in real life and in the universe, but are fairly capable, and also are both, of course, amphibians. There's also a contest between a genius versus an idiot. The fight would be a combination of Bucky versus Fox and Dan versus Hercule, which is just such a fun combo. Slippy is much more capable than people give him credit for. He basically made everything the crew uses, and if you give him a ship, then this is just an absolute stomp. Without it though, despite some advantages, I think Jar Jar could put up a decent fight, mostly because of his luck, but eventually, he'll croak. Okay, finally name-based one, I promise. It's not just names though. These two are some of the big examples of the evil Hades trope, but unlike a lot of other ones who are big and scary, these guys are just freaking meme words. The banter between these two would be to die for. They bounce off of each other so well. Only problem I could see here is the size difference between the two. Kid Icarus Hades can presumably size shift, but he's more well known for being like a mountain. And I don't think that really works well with Disney Hades. Despite the size difference, Disney Hades might actually win this though, depending on what you believe for Kid Icarus. All I request is that Disney Hades called Kid Icarus Hades' second head a ripoff, because like, Seriously, how did they get away with this?
I am in control.
Put Adam Sandler there in death battle, you cowards! What connections do these two have? They use part of the remotes, that's it, but like, frick you, it's funny, who else uses the remote? Now, at first I was hesitant on this because I don't think you can really blend like a live action character and a cartoon character very well. But then I remembered, this is Gumball. This theory is most well known for blending art styles. You could get away with a live action Michael fighting a CGI Rob. Maybe even have a scene where Rob becomes Superintendent Evil and it's just a straight live action fight. All you have to do is find a convincing Adam Sandler impersonator, since all you have to do is put a remote. This is a super close battle. If you ignore that Rob can do everything Michael's remote can do, but better and more, and also that Michael is a human while Gumball characters range from building to freaking Universal. But it's allowed though, because it's funny. All these fights I picked for different reasons. Some are thematic connections, my connection to the characters, animation potential, memes, but this is the only one I picked because I just want to know who wins. I mentioned that I like to debate fights with friends before, and all of them had a conclusive answer, except for these three. Any combination of Godzilla vs. Hulk, Hulk vs. Bowser, or Godzilla vs. Bowser. Even researching these three more, I can't decide who wins. I know Death Battle isn't the end-all be-all or whatever, but this would at least start a conversation that could finally get me to answering any of these questions. It could be any combination of the three, though if I had to pick, I'd probably lean towards Godzilla vs. Bowser, I guess? Give Bowser a fight that doesn't make him lose because he doesn't have a specific weapon, even though he's far stronger than his opponent, but because this awful no limits fallacy, it's perfectly fine for him to lose, even though he's far stronger, will totally win, and you lowball him, and I don't like Bowser vs. Gandalf.
You need to lighten up.
The other battles I feel like is super likely. Mysterio vs. Scarecrow is the only Marvel vs. DC I really want. This fight is only held back by your imagination. These two can create anything with their illusions. Basically just make it at one too far from home, but with two characters doing the mind messing. We need to have a scene where, for example, Mysterio kills Scarecrow, only for Scarecrow to kill Mysterio. Then have that be an illusion too, and then have Mysterio kill him, and then have that just be going on for infinity, back and forth, with them killing each other, until they just kind of get bored, and they go to a bar, and they just have a nice beer. But then turns out the beer is snake venom, but then turns out that the person poisoned is actually snake underneath the mask, and I should move on.
Sidewalk all over you, baby.
Then I don't have to repeat myself.
I think Crocker vs. Duke was the first battle I ever wanted. Two over-the-top, insane arch nemesis from 2000s era cartoons that wear white and black, with constantly changing tragic backstories, and a whole bunch of weird inventions to fight with. This would need to be hand-drawn. I don't really have anything specific here, besides Norm appearing, and of course you need to reference the whole "by a nickel" line. That's required. That's on the test. When it comes to who wins, Doof actually seems to stomp physically, which is hilarious, as he's taken his entire building exploding, which is calced to around city block level. With inventions, they actually seem comparable, though Crockers are made specifically to hunt fairies, so that might hinder him. Then their peak gets to Universal, though again Crocker's held back by the fairies being necessary for his final form, which would probably be outside help, while Doof's fascinators are totally allowed. Doof takes this, and as the internet's biggest Doof stan, that's okay with me.
How?
That's the sitting rock.
This seems like a weird matchup to hear me out. I really wanted a Stitch fight since he's one of my favorite characters, but I don't really like any of his matchups. They're mostly just him versus an alien. Sonic fits, but I don't hate Stitch. Then I thought of this one. Stitch versus Amethyst from Steven Universe. Both are created to be deadly weapons for an evil alien civilization, but were considered failures, and later found a true purpose: family. Both are also majorly overly emotional, and can roll up into a ball. Well, this could apply to Peridot as well, but I don't want my children to kill each other. And also she's not a fighter. But speaking of killing though, Death Battle put Steven at star level, which if Amethyst scaled, would annihilate Stitch. Though that was scaling to Rose, who's far above Amethyst, I've seen most people put her around Mulligan level, so Stitch would be stronger and smarter, but Amethyst would be faster and more experienced. It really could go either way. This is my second most wanted on the entire list. I really want this matchup.
Do I see 120?
It's just a donkey.
This one I also feel like has a shot. We need more duo fights and animated film characters, and this is a pretty well-known rivalry. And of course, Monster Inc. and Shrek are two of my favorite movies of all time. I think Shrek and Donkey win, unless there's an episode of Monsters at Work coming out where Mike spills some coffee and blows up the planet, which I hope happens. It would finally convince everyone about Jabba vs. Roz, but unless that happens, I think it's all ogre for them.
I gotta write that down.
The two biggest non-Kronk himbos, both being pilots and friendly with a grumpy old guy with a cane. Funky's laid-back personality would bounce off of Launchpad's idiot frick-up ways of fighting pretty well. Funky should stop, unless there's some stupid Tuna Force thing in one of the DuckTales comics they don't know of.
Thanks. I work out.
Clearly the most likely idea on this list. Fish Bungeon versus Leary is two ridiculously buff aquatic sea creatures fighting to see who's the most Chad. The fight would actually be pretty simple. Leary could shoot planets out of his hand like Hadokens. Fish Bungeon would counter by using Galaxy as a sword. Leary would destroy theirs by flexing and creating a rift in space-time. You know, things you'd expect from characters this godly. Who wins? Don't know. Don't care. Probably Fish Bungeon. Yeah. Two giant greedy monsters who love gold so much that they literally use it as armor over all of their body besides their weak point. This would have to start with Tamatoa stumbling into Smog's domain trying to steal his treasure, and then the fight just starts from there. Tamatoa should win because scaling the Maui lasso in the sun. So I can see this somehow going to Smog flying away, Tamatoa grabbing onto him, falling. So when Smog tried to take advantage of this and attack his weak point, Tamatoa could jab Smog's weak point, rip off his head and wings, then eat it. Also have Shiny playing here because this nest is really funny.
Watch this.
Is this just Wario vs. DD 2? Yes. Do I care? I mean, it's my second favorite episode with a character I like even more, so of course not. No idea who wins this because Tuna Force is stupid, though DD's pure strengths should be enough to give him the win. A way to separate this from Wario vs. DD would be voice acting. These two have just great voices and would play off each other amazingly. Yes, that would mean using the DD anime voice. They use MCU Tony on the comic Tony's feet, so why not here too? Also have a scene where DD throws Pete into a dimensional mirror, only for him to pop out as classic Pete. If that happened, I would literally be happy.
Don't tell me it's normal.
Garfield vs. Heathcliff is unironically one of the most slept-on matches. It's actually a pretty big rivalry, and the two have a lot to work with via being gag characters. As for who wins, it's a battle of Lightspeed Garfield versus a freaking tank. Tell me you don't want this. Come on. Oh boy, it's me, Post-Stripe again, yay! So this was originally supposed to be Arceus vs. Snoopy, because inside jokes are funny, but then Deltarune Chapter 2 decided to exist, and I was like, wow, Ralze is best boy, and Ralze reminds me of Azrael, and Azrael is a powerful goat monster thing. You know who else is a powerful goat monster thing? Arceus. That's a good matchup, I should do that instead. So, yeah, that's why we're doing Arceus vs. Azrael. It's a battle to see who is truly the GOAT. Pretty sure Arceus stomps, but it's a cool fight, and it's better than Snoopy, so yeah, there you go. There's the new number, whatever the frick this is.
Destruction isn't supposed to make sense, and I will not be bullied by that.
We need a Final Fantasy fight that's not using 7, and a fight between two magic-powered trickster gods would be a great start. These guys have so many different powers you can pull from. Honestly, if I had to pick a Source Filmmaker fight, it would be this one. I'm gonna say Loki takes this because he's a Marvel Herald, and he fought Thor, though Kefka would definitely go downswing.
For the crown, Hedgehog.
Two princesses, both from a far-off land, both purple, both with fire, and both join crime-fighting teams. I already talked about how much I like Starfire, and I rewatched the show recently, and that love only increased. Blaze is probably my second favorite Sonic character, so I'd be pumped to see her too. Only problem with this is that the comic and show versions of Starfire are very different. Unlike Raven, they're pretty different in terms of personality, design, and most importantly, strength. So this could be either Blaze stomps if you use the show, or I have no idea who wins if you use the comic version because Sonic's stats are stupid. Either way, I want this, and it's a much better Blaze match than another Mario vs. Sonic. The only connection is the other female character in the series. So I can blather on about all the dumb matchups I have, which is a lot, but I feel like we should finally wrap this up with what I've saved for last. My most wanted death battle idea. So a lot of these were random. This one isn't. I saved this specifically for last. Now I know some of these are memes or borderline memes, but this one I genuinely want so bad. Sadly though, this is probably the most unlikely one on the list. Enough stalling. Here is my most wanted death battle.
Nice working with ya.
Perhaps we better make a deal.
Let's get the elephant out of the way. This will never happen. These two just don't seem like characters death battle would use. And if they did, I don't think it'd be against each other. Randall vs. Oogie Boogie feels more likely because they're both Disney boogeymen, and Beast unironically has more in common with the monster from Friday Night Funkin' and Boggs. But they do have connections. Both are the boogeymen of their verse. They specifically hunt one kid, they alter their appearance, and both get powerful children they encounter in different ways. But that isn't the reason I want the fight. It's for everything else. For one, I obviously have a big connection to these characters. Over the Garden Wall is one of the best shows I've ever seen, and the Beast is a major contributing factor to that. And I don't think I need to go over all the reasons why I love Randall again, but if I do, wait until November 2nd. The track would be great. Garden Wall has a lot of very slow, ominous songs with some hypnotic chanting, and this track, which I guarantee would be called Beasts Inc., could have that, along with maybe incorporating parts of the Monsters Inc. theme, and maybe even, like, I don't know, if I didn't have you, or put that thing back where it came from, just for memes. The biggest reason I want this though is the animation potential. It would have to take place in a forest, and from the start of the fight, the Beast would seed Randall. This would introduce like a ticking clock to the fight. Beast is pretty much immune to anything Randall can throw, but halfway through the fight, he finds a lantern and puts together that that's a way to kill the Beast. There needs to be a part where the Beast manipulates the lights to show his true form, which would terrify even Randall, or for like a joke, they could just have Randall say he's not impressed. Honestly, both would be in character. I'm fairly certain Randall wins. Beast isn't a fighter, it would take hours to turn into a tree, and he's smart and fast enough to snuff the light, and because of that, we get this great ending. Randall tries in vain to get to the lantern, but it's too late, and he turns into a tree. The Beast goes to snap Randall in half for the pain he's caused him, only for Randall to reveal that he's been using camouflage to make his body look like wood. In the conclusion, he would kill the Beast once and for all. I could honestly write out an entire battle for this match. I love it so much, and as unlikely as it is my most wanted death battle matchup of all time. So, I don't really know how to end this video. Bye.
Invention of Hollywood, as there is no historical evidence of the weapon's existence.
Like the moon landing.